Neely, let's get right to it, brother. There is a lot of fear in this country right now, across the board. You want to talk politics, you want to talk about sports, you want to talk about sports media, whatever you want to talk about, entertainment, there is a lot of fear of things becoming different than the way they have always been. I would say, Neely, even if people lack the self-awareness to understand where some of these feelings are coming from, I don't think across the board, the mainstream, whatever, fill in the blank, is like, oh, this is Deion Sanders, boy, he looked different, he talks different, he acts different. I really hope what he does works because we need to shake up the establishment. I don't think that's a widespread sentiment, and I think when your fears manifest, and this is just my opinion here, when your fears in life manifest, man, they come out weird. Stuff starts shooting out your ear, out your chin. It just looks weird. And you're saying things, and you might not even have the awareness to understand where they come from. But boy, that chest starts feeling funny when you see things that you don't like. Subconsciously or consciously, you're going to do something about it.
You know, outside of or juxtaposed right there, shoulder to shoulder, neck to neck, than Eddie Robinson of Grambling. You know, there's probably been no greater coach in college football than Nick Saban and what he accomplished at Alabama. And when he read the tea leaves and saw what was coming, whether that is, you know, streaming, media, NIL collectives, you name it, all stirred in the same pot at the same time, he even knew, I don't want to participate in this change. You know, this is a change, you know, that's going to happen, and it's happening too fast and too uncomfortable for what I've already done for all these years, so I'm out. And it's the same thing in the media circuit when you hear people like Feinbaum talk. The change that Coach Prime represents and the change that will come when it is successful that will sweep across the landscape. And let me just be clear in what I'm saying so no one has to read between the lines. If this black man becomes the first black coach to win a national championship, and he does it all while remaining, acting, and showing that he is black, it changes the game. It changes how people recruit. It changes how people hire. It changes how people just participate in college football from A to Z. And change, as you articulated, Tolly, scares the hell out of people. So there are some people who are uncomfortable with this situation. There are some people who want it to succeed, but you better believe there are a lot of people betting against it because what it means to them, should it work, it means they'll be out of business.
All right. If this conversation makes you uncomfortable, don't go anywhere because you need to. It is vital that you see how other people see life because we're all living life, but we're seeing it from an entirely different angle. OK, so just stick around because you said something very important there. What does Feinbaum, what does Woj, what does, all these insiders, how do they make their lip? How does Neely make his living? What is the key word? What is the key word, Neely?
It's inside.
Access, inside. If you and Prime are not having the relationship that you have, you're not building the Pregame Show network, okay? And you're very transparent about that, okay? Mm-hmm. Feinbaum's ability to, talk, stay connected, and God bless him for building that. And I'm not trying to single him out. I like listening to him. Yeah, I think he's very entertaining. But look, these guys don't just break this news because they're smarter than everybody else or they work harder than everybody else. It's all a game, baby. It's all a game. People get fed breaking news because of the relationships and because things have been established, and it's just easy for everybody to disseminate their information. And I don't have a problem with it. But Neely, if there's another Deion Sanders-esque coach who gets elevated and starts winning, that access game is going to change. Because what does Coach Sanders do of the many things that he does? Neely, he enjoys giving access to people who have traditionally not had the access. Inclusion, if you will. Now imagine if that becomes a norm.
Like I said, the punchline, let me just take you to the end of the joke. If that, or should I say when that becomes the norm, there will be a lot of people who are going to go ahead and go into retirement because the way that they used to do business will not be available to them. And it's not that somebody took something from them. You just saw a leveling of the playing field. You just saw opportunity extended to other people and other media sources. And that's one thing that Coach Prime understands. is that growing media platforms, having people, be a part that he can trust is the same thing that these other folks have just done for decades. And now that he's doing it, people have a problem with it. Now, all of a sudden, when Neely reports on Colorado, oh, it's biased. He's just saying what he's told to say. When a Feinbaum can report on Alabama for decades and nobody says a word, it's still the same access, the same insider information, the same thing that coaches have used ad nauseum for decades to get the narrative framed and the information out and get it shared in the right way. But Tolly, as you know, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
No. If people want information on Colorado, just the average person, Neely, and keep it 100 right here, where are the first three places they go?
It's going to be Well Off Media. It's going to be Reach the People, and it's going to be the Pregame Show, period.
Three brothers that 5 years ago, you didn't know who they were, what they were doing. They had other lives. They were doing stuff. And now they are making a living. All three brothers right there. That's one of them on your screen. Where he's right there. Making a living off the access provided, and that's part of the equation, but his ability and desire to work hard, be professional, and bring you the information.
I want to add one more layer to that people miss all the time. Those three brothers who are doing that started at an HBCU in Jackson, Mississippi called Jackson State. And when they left with Coach Prime to start covering Coach Prime in the Pac-12, now the Big 12, guess what happened at Jackson State? Other people then got the opportunity to continue doing what they were doing. And so a rising tide lifts all boats. When you move out of a house, you better believe somebody else moves in it. And so this is a cycle that will continue as we continue to uplift coaches, uplift platforms and programs, all based off hard work and relationships. The same thing that other people have been doing. Now that we're doing it, they mad.